News. Building in the Middle East.
Well, g'day, Sam. We're back here with another episode of Golf Founders, and
Morning,
today
morning.
we're going to be taking a little bit different than some of our previous episodes, where we're going to be looking into the latest regional news on things like technology, of course, AI, entrepreneurship, and these kind of exciting topics. So I'm excited to look at a slightly different, content for our podcast, and I think this is something we're going to do a bit more frequently, isn't it, Sam?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a monthly roundup or a fortnightly roundup of what's been happening throughout the Middle East, in Dubai, UAE, for the topics that you mentioned and what we think our audience would be interested in, and selfishly what we're interested in as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's as always with many of these areas, these topics are evolving so quickly. I mean, if you just look at AI, like it's a tsunami just trying to keep on top of all the releases or the news or the innovations and so on. So yeah, it's something you were never going to run out of things to talk about, I think.
I know, right? Especially if you start getting into all the tools getting released by Google and Meta and Grok and everything else. Like, there's so much to talk about. It could nearly be a daily topic, a daily podcast, very honestly.
Yeah, I've seen that with other podcasters talking about these subjects. Like they've had to increase the tempo of their podcasts. So like they might be doing once a week and now they're doing twice a week or three times even. Like even just, I think in the last, 10 days, the amount of news just from say Anthropic from, the Claude innovations, and they had a leak as well. I don't know if you heard about that. I mean, there's all kinds of things happening as well.
Honestly, it's probably needed more than ever, really. So what we're going to deliver, hopefully, is more regional news, and
Yeah.
that gets out to the wider world and for entrepreneurs in the Middle East as well. But it's changing very fast, and also changing very fast in our region too, which is very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I mean, this first topic that we've got listed here, I'll be perfectly honest, I don't know much about it. This fractional property, I'd love to learn what
Mm.
this is, what a bit more about what this is about. I know this is an area specifically of interest for you, mate. So, shall we dig into that one?
Yeah, I think it's such a Dubai um, cool story. It happened last month as well. I heard it even on the local radio. But it's nothing, it's actually not new. I think it's just getting more legs and getting more notoriety and also more investment as well. So, of course, it's happened in Dubai, getting into fractional property investments, which is so cool. Mainly because like we're doing this in public listed companies by buying shares. We're doing this in private listed companies such as like Beehive, which is a crowdfunding solution, and now we can do it in the property market as well, thanks to this new initiative. Obviously backed by the RERA, the Dubai Real Estate Authority. So looking into a little bit further, um, it's the company is called Stake. So if you want to check it out, it's called getstake.com.
Hmm.
I was checking it out a little bit more today, and it's actually really cool, right? And it makes completely sense, and it's all like logged on the blockchain as well. So from looking into it further, it just makes real estate investing more accessible for everyone. Because real estate's going up and up and up. It's never going to go down. So it's very expensive just to get the initial principal to buy a full property for most people, especially, and so it's not attainable until now. So looking into Stake, it's a fintech company now, and they've got properties which are available for people to invest in. What I can see from their website, you can actually invest as small as 500 dirham into
Oh
a
wow.
property, right? So properties over here are millions of dirham, but you can put in as low as 500 dirham, and then choose your property. It looks like from here, they've selected the properties that we can invest in. You can, there's a window when you can invest in it. It then gets closed because they acquire the property once they raise the capital with all the investors. You can have a look here. Funded So go getstake.com/properties. You can see
Mhm.
available, funded, and exited. So funded, studio in Ajan, studio apartment in Ajan. It was 763,000 dirham. They got 636 investors, right? So nearly 1,000 dirham per investor if you look at it that way. And then the investors are making money from the rent from the tenant
Mhm.
who's in the apartment. And obviously, on the upside, when they actually exit, when they sell the property, obviously they're showing here. You go to the exited, and you can see properties that have what they've sold for, what they got purchased for, and then also the rental income as well, and the date of when they purchased it and sold it. By looks of it, they usually hang on to those properties for around about 4 to 5 years.
Mhm.
And the other cool thing is it's you don't have to wait until they exit. Looking at the website again, you can buy and sell your stake throughout that period as well. So
So,
very, very cool.
Sam, do you know how then? So, who's controlling the property? I guess, like who's
Mm.
dealing with the or maybe this get stake is the actual kind of the real estate agent in a way, and who decides, if they're going to sell it or how much they're going to rent it for? Do you have any idea how that works?
Yeah, when I listened to it on the radio, it was raising more questions than answers actually, because
Mm.
like, is this open for every single property? No. Is it it's a pre-selected list of properties that this stake company has um raised funds for, right? So like, here's the properties that we wouldn't like to buy. Here is the window that you can put some money into it, and this is and then if we raise that capital, I suppose they buy it. So they've got 350 fully funded properties. So to give you guys some numbers here, they've done some pretty big deals. So they've been around. They're not new, right? So they've 2 million registered users, 1.4 billion dirham of property transactions, and 70 million of rental income paid out to their investors as well. They've been around since 2020, I believe. So to answer your question, no, they select the properties, and then you can, and they've got a pretty cool app. So it's kind of fun, to be fair. And you can buy and sell, your shares in the properties that you've purchased. So it's a predefined list.
This idea of fractional ownership I find very interesting. Even and you mentioned before that that it's all tracked on the blockchain as well, which that's technology that's really talking to me. I think that this kind of concept of fractional ownership will become more and more prevalent. Property obviously here, but I mean it could be extended to things like cars, other assets, even where you bring down the overall initial capital investment down, and perhaps they allow either the investment opportunity or the access to those products to be much more widely dispersed as well. Very, very interesting topic.
Like, this is at a small scale how fractional real estate investing is working through a private fintech company, but it's a small scale, right? Because like, they're just doing it with their predefined properties. I love to see how the Dubai government, I know like RERA, the real estate authority, has been using blockchain for and looking at blockchain for way before COVID period came. And I would love to see what happens in the future when they get more and more confident using blockchain for real estate transactions, right? Which has to be rolled out from the government level, which has to be rolled out from the RERA perspective. And the exciting thought for me is, if every single property gets onto the blockchain, a Dubai real estate blockchain, would you even need a real estate agent to be in the middle, right? Like, I mean, it's such a big industry in UAE, like, so, and it creates a lot of employment, but would you need a real estate agent if it's on the blockchain and you can just have the sale between the buyer and the seller? Again, what's the benefit for the investors? Like, they don't have to pay the agency fee, which is like 2% by the buyer and 2% of the seller. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I mean the innovations that we see in the region, just as relates to fintech, crypto, the blockchain technologies. Like something I was involved in probably 18 months, 2 years ago was, have you ever heard of a DAO, DAO?
No.
So it's kind of a application of blockchain technologies and other like technologies around that into the organization of a company. And so there is actually a DAO there's a legal framework that was set up in Ras Al Khaimah, I think in 2024 about this.
Huh.
And the idea is that you can have, again, there's an ownership component. So you can have, instead of like as we know, like if you have a company in the UAE, like you have a cap table of who owns that company, and it's very rigid and it's quite difficult to change. And that's the same in most countries. With a DAO, you can, because it's all managed on the blockchain, you can have much more flexible concepts of ownership that you can transfer at whatever market value that might be defined there, which makes it very interesting and kind of a very like this. Similarly to what we're seeing here in the property example, makes a very interesting kind of concept to be able to have like small ownership of organizations. But that also extends to, I should say, DAO stands for Digital Autonomous Organization. So the concept is that then the control of the organization can also be distributed. Actually, it might be distributed or autonomous organization. I should look that up again. And so then there's different mechanisms for being able to vote on decisions from the company as well. So you don't necessarily have to have a conventional hierarchy of company decision making and so on. So it's still a very nascent concept, but it's something that's a very interesting area where these blockchains enable these kind of
And I
operations.
suppose for a company, logging some particular agreements or transactions on that public ledger, right, which is the blockchain, which probably would be government level, at least then there's some sort of like timestamp and historic record
Yeah,
of agreements between
transparency,
partnerships or
accountability.
like
Yep.
ownership transactions or renewals
Mhm.
of trade license and everything, right? Like blockchain should just be at government level predominantly for for this stuff to work really nicely.
Yeah, and you could tie in
Banking,
things like
like
yeah.
healthcare, you could put it
Mm,
all on the blockchain or be one big blockchain or blockchain per government ministry sector.
yeah, and you could tie that in with things like smart contracts as well. So you can what you're talking about, like the transfer of ownership of elements, can all be tied in with smart contracts, and everything is scrutinizable on a public blockchain. I still like, it's funny, like I still sometimes, less nowadays, but you remember the craze, because it is somewhat related to this when we talk about the utilization of blockchains. Do you remember a few years ago when we had all the hype around NFTs, the non-fungible tokens?
Oh my
Now,
goodness!
I always rolled my eyes on it when it came to that in the use of digital art, and that's what like got its most appropriate. Well, not its most appropriate, but it became most famous there, where people were selling like little icons and stuff for tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was just
And
insane.
now worth zero, especially with
And
AI.
now they're worth.
I completely laughed at this concept y- in the era of AI, where you can just simply do a prompt and create unlimited artwork,
Now, yes,
therefore
yeah.
reducing the uniqueness and the sparsity of it to infinity, which is creating. I mean, it's just useless. I mean, it's completely.
Yeah.
God, some people
On
lost
the
a lot of
art
money.
side, I agree. I feel like they're like for individual artists with renown, there could still be something there potentially. Like it's
100%.
you own the first version of this. Like there's still occasion that I think, but the overall the idea I think will come back, but in different form. It won't be around art. I feel like like the idea of these NFTs. Remove that from the concept of art. I think of
Of
two,
like cartoons and stuff like that. But
yeah,
maybe it
like
could be of like music, of if Taylor Swift wanted to release a song and put it as an NFT. Oh my goodness, right? The
Yeah.
ownership of
Yeah.
that song, right? She actually bought it all back because she didn't want the ownership to be with the record label. But if you could put that on NFT, that would be a perfect NFT, which is a creative
Yeah.
piece of art, and only one person can own it, and it's valuable
Yeah.
because it was done by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, exactly. I think there will be application for that. But I mean, outside of the media side and art, things like even like memberships to clubs, they could all be put onto blockchains. You can set that up with smart contracts that automatically test this. It can all be you could distribute those and sell those at whatever the market value might be. And of course, I look at it from the educational training side of thing. One of the big things that companies struggle with is that there is unfortunately still a lot of falsified training records or education. So, and this got popular, but it's lost a little bit of steam. Where instead of giving you a certificate to when you graduate from this school or university, they'd instead give you an NFT, and then that NFT is issued by that university. You can scrutinize the blockchain of that university, and it's unfalsifiable because it's living on this. It's issued by this organization, and you can't falsify that. Now, I think that will come back at some stage, because and they might be called something else. It might not be called NFTs. There might be rebadged. It probably needs to be rebadged to divorce it from all these clip art stuff. But I feel like that kind of technology will come back at some stage.
Like I was I just like ChatGPT and NFT. The actual definition of that, it's a unique cryptographic token. So that's what it defines it as, meaning that
Yeah.
NFTs is predominantly for graphic art, I suppose. Like this is probably but non-fungible token is a non-fungible token, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a cryptographic.
It could be anything.
Yeah,
it could be anything.
Like
So
a certificate.
non-fungible just means you can't exchange it one for one. Like a fungible item is something like a dollar bill. You can exchange a dollar bill for a dollar bill kind of thing. Non-fungible, you can't do that. So it's something unique, and that could be anything. I mean, it could be ownership. It could be certificate. It could be art.
Like
the applications
cryptocurrency, right? Like it's like cryptocurrency is on the blockchain. NFT is on the blockchain. It's just probably just another terminology. And like you said, though, unfortunately, really connected to graphic art, but actually it could be outside of graphic art, or it could be actually for a wider use. Like you said, for a certificate, it could be for title deed of a property, right? It could be, any driver's license.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly, mate.
Passport.
All right. Well, yeah. So shall we go into our next topic here? I think we've got quite a few around the AI space. Shall we pick one of those, mate?
Yeah, for sure. So I love this one. This is very cool. It got announced that Dubai AI economy could hit $46 billion by 2030. So let me just find the actual article, because one second. Just
while
a
you bring
quick
that
fact.
up, it's I think there's so many different aspects to this when you talk about the size of that economy, because obviously you got like the startup scene and on the entrepreneurship side, but you also see massive investment into developing of models, for instance, trying to, and as well as trying to attract talent here. And I think it's another one of the things where maybe it's another topic we could bring into. It's around the sovereign wealth funds are, just investing so heavily into these areas, and that all kind of culminates into the size of what this market could build to be.
So here's the article. 2025, $7.8 billion revenue in the UAE economy in the AI industry. So 7.8, and then in 5 years' time, $46 billion dollars revenue by 2030, just for the UAE economy, not the wider GCC or Saudi. So everything you said is correct. Why is this happening? I would actually say this is happening from that AI vision of 2031, UAE AI vision 2031, wanting again, and why not, to be the leader in the world when it comes to AI, right? So firstly, the vision is put in place. Secondly, okay, we're getting some drive behind that of acceleration growth from, like you said, startups, but also from government, right? So there's a lot of investment coming from government, and I would say probably the majority of that investment is coming from government, sovereign wealth funds, like you said, but also semi-government for-profit entities are also getting set up, and doing a lot of like for-profit work through through those initiatives. One of the biggest ones is Presight.ai. So that's a G42 company, semi-government in Abu Dhabi. So they're doing some very, very interesting work with ADNOC and other large entities and government ministries within the UAE, but also with now countries abroad, right? So they're actually they're creating contracts with governments and ministries in other countries as well, utilizing their technology and the ecosystem that they're building, right? So it is really government driven. But then a lot of this revenue comes as a result of that initial investment of setting up entities like Presight, and then Presight actually making a business model around that to support other ministries and private entities and public entities like ADNOC to use their technology. I don't know if you've heard recently, but Presight, so clever, right? Like they've got some fantastic AI technology that they're building in house and products that they're deploying as a service to their customers. But something else that came up last month, they've got now a fund. And like I said, ecosystem. So they're now attracting they're now an investor where pretty much they're buying those AI startups, right? So like now they're attracting talent from around the world to start their own AI company, because like it's changing so fast, like we said at the beginning, right? Like Presight or any entity cannot keep up with building enough products to serve like all the opportunities that are coming and actually going. So how do you do that? You just find the best companies, and because you've got massive government backing, you acquire them, and then you've got more AI tools at your disposal to offer to your pre-existing government, public listed companies and private company customers.
And that ecosystem feeds upon itself as well. So by having a friendly regulatory environment, by having a willingness to invest and acquire and allow people to come and make these partnerships with these leading AI organizations throughout the world, I doubt that there is a single major AI provider that hasn't in the last 12 months announced some kind of major partnership or investment here in the region between the UAE and Saudi Arabia as well. They're all here now. They're all present. I was looking just recently at like some of the language models coming out of Humane, which is the Saudi kind of government initiative for the setup of various AI initiatives, including development of Arabic first language models. And UAE, you got, like you mentioned, G42. There's also TII with their Falcon models as well. And so all of this kind of ecosystem kind of builds upon itself. When there's money around and there's an openness to the innovation and the investment, then this is where that whole ecosystem will thrive. I mean, I kind of feel, I don't know if you agree with this, but like the UAE and Saudi are probably only the second market after the US as far as, maybe not in total funding, but as far as the openness to development in these areas. I think China's right up there, but China's much more closed, and the market there is much more internal than bringing in external people like we see here in the GCC. So I really feel like if you are a startup in the area, the US is is certainly going to be number one, but this region is likely, I think, second to that.
It's absolutely ripe. Like the first point that they did is put in policies in place, right? They put in trade licenses for AI companies to establish, right? So they're attracting a huge wealth of talent who are coming from around the world to start their own AI companies. Because the government's friendly to new business, new ideas, new innovations when it comes to AI, right? And it all comes down to that 2031 vision, and then also the financial backing that the government and those wealth funds and those pre-sites are now offering to startups, right? Like if you got a great concept, like they're even like investing in even like early stage concepts, right? So like, and then they're acquiring them, and it's just so they've got the whole, like you said, the whole ecosystem. It's attracting so much talent over here. Just to like go a little bit deeper into like how are they making, how are they going to do $46 billion of revenue by 2030, which is in literally four years?
Yeah.
To just give you a story, not even a story, but like this is a real case study. So Presite, they've just launched a new website. You go to the new website, go to industries, go to energy, and they acquired a company called AIQ. The acquisition was between Presite, the AI company, and also ADNOC, because who's AIQ? AIQ built AI systems for the energy sector to advance and at the end of the day make far more profit for the energy companies. Okay, so who are AIQ? AIQ are doing the coolest AI tech into just they've got a number of products, but one, for example, is for identifying where to drill next. So previously, it used to take them months of humans doing data crunching and analytics to figure out where is the best hole to drill next. Drilling a hole is not like just going in and just putting in like a shovel and start going down. Like it's super expensive stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like so you want to make the best decision of where you're going to drill next. With this technology, it's with all the prediction and feed it with all the historic data, like they're doing this literally in hours instead of months.
Wow.
I know this because I heard the from ADNOC, the digital innovation lady was talking about this topic. Like, so what does that mean? Like, it means ADNOC is going to be extremely more profitable. ADNOC will be deploying more wells way sooner, but also probably less overheads with human labor of full-time employment, again making them more profitable. So it's and then AIQ and Presite obviously sending a bill to ADNOC at the end of the day for that service as well.
Yeah, I mean the implications of this. I mean, I don't know if you ever read Dario from Anthropics. He wrote a blog article, more of a short kind of thought piece around machines of loving grace, which is a bit of throwback to another reference. But he talks about like what these applications of the AI can be in so many different areas, with a really kind of positive outlook as to what the applications of this are going to be, from healthcare and education, industries like you mentioned there, like oil and gas. Yeah, I mean, to have like a ecosystem built, well, it's being literally built around us right now here in the region, where we're seeing, all these kind of partnerships and collaborations coming together. It's just an incredible time to see it. Like, it's so much news coming out, day by day around these two. So
I just love how companies like AIQ actually building real AI solutions and products for
Mm.
real problems and saving companies so much money, either through faster deployment, or through cost savings, or through more accuracy, right? As well. Like there's so many benefits. And this is like real world applications which are
Yeah.
making massive difference in
Mhm.
the economy.
Yeah, it's not just talking about the application of AI. It's actually, it's a practical real time use in real industry, which, yeah, where the rubber hit the road, because there's so many people that talk about AI and then maybe got some demo, but this is actual, proper usage of it, which is, quite incredible.
That's why I just wanted to raise a case study, right? For like maybe international listeners or other entrepreneurs out
Mm.
there who are starting AI companies, like think of sectors that are ready for disruption. Think of
Mm.
problems which are taking months to complete and now can be done within minutes with far more accuracy, right?
Mm.
Find real problems in the economy and solve one little solution, right? Make one little
Mm.
solution for a really big problem. And then look what can happen, right? Like
Yeah.
government and a public listed or largest oil and gas company in the UAE acquire you.
Yeah. 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 And, that can be niched down so heavily. Like if you have I think the magic here happens when you have got this specific knowledge in a domain. You know what the problems are, what the inefficiencies are, and utilizing AI, you can solve those inefficiencies, and then you can bring that to market.
I,
Yeah,
I don't think
that's
but I think like everything, like it takes multiple subject matter experts because like you'd have like someone from oil and gas who spent their whole life like doing drilling predictions, as a career,
hmm
but they have no
hmm
idea about when it comes to building an AI product. So typically you need
yeah.
to bring that subject matter expert who has that pain point and then a software company to actually build that solution for them and then bring those two minds together and then you could build a really very cool software company.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Like, there's the argument of having like a technical founder. Well, there's in that regard, there's kind of two technical founders. You've got the technical founder in the niche, and you got the technical from the AI side. I feel like now that someone, assuming they're off the right, guess attitude, that the tools now are much more friendly to build out what could be an MVP in your domain, even if you're not from that, like from an AI
Like from
background.
software.
Um, Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, maybe I'm looking at it from mostly from a software perspective, but the ability to know a domain and then be able to build minimal viable product software for it, and then see how that can benefit you. Because we do this. I'm doing a lot internally. Like, I've got certain like problems that we have or certain inefficiencies, and I'm just solving it for our own company. I'm building a tool that can help us, and even if I never take that to market, I still see a lot of benefit from it. And then eventually, like if you're more outwardly focused and you want to build a product around that, something that's productizable and you can sell, then there's opportunities there as well. So I think there's a case for both approaches. Yeah.
100%. I think for the founder led who doesn't come from software, even like getting your hands dirty over the weekend with building like an
hmm
MVP, like a minimal viable
Yeah.
product or proof of concept, and then do it properly, maybe with someone that, can build something which is scalable might be the best approach. Because like you said, now you can actually probably get away building a very basic MVP, which like, in your case, that might just be sufficient for your own company. But then if you
Mm.
do want to scale it, then at the moment, like you could do both options. Some people are just time poor, or some people just don't,
Yeah.
like you will see this like with AI, like people will just put their hands up. There'll be plenty of businesses out there and business owners out there. They just put their hand up and say, because it's advancing so fast, anyone that's not getting involved in upskilling themselves with AI, it would just be, they'll be get left further behind, and then they'll just put their hand up. They will be going out to those AI experts to actually build their MVP because they don't have
Mm.
any idea or don't know where to start. So it
Yeah,
depends on
yeah,
the
no,
nature of the owner, whether they have the time,
yeah,
whether they have the money, or whether they have the interest. That's always the case.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. I just assume because I'm looking and utilizing AI all day, I kind of just assume everyone else is as well. But actually, like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, people are using ChatGPT. They got it on their phone. They're asking it questions. They're using it instead of Google. But they're still, I can't remember the exact statistics, but still, like, the majority of the world have never used AI, like not in
I
a proactive sense.
Did I
Um,
share that
and
with you?
then
I saw that as
it
well
might,
just recently. Like it was
yeah,
like
yeah,
2% are
you're right.
actually paying for AI tools, and then there was like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
15%
So,
only
like,
using it. So don't feel like you're left
yes,
behind right now.
exactly. And I mean, of those 2% that are even paying for it, how many are building with it? Like,
Ah, yeah.
for many, it's going to be just a glorified Google, or maybe it's writing a report for them. Okay, that is very, very helpful. Don't get me wrong, but that's probably still what the majority of use cases are for the majority of people.
And
Um,
building
and
tools
then
would be either those entrepreneur founders or it could be maybe
yes,
developers, using it
yeah,
within their, full-time employment or part-time
yeah.
hobby, but probably would be a fraction of
Oh
1%,
yeah,
wouldn't it?
a fraction of a fraction. Um,
So small.
so yeah, there's still so much. Green. What's the term? They'd be like green
Oh.
territory out there for entrepreneurs.
Oh,
We've
like I
barely
said, right
begun.
now, like now is the biggest opportunity for, to start a business, right? Like if you want to get into AI, it could be the best time ever because like you said, it's still very infancy. There's still a lot of opportunities out there, just like AIQ has done with
Yeah.
Presight and AdNoc. Why don't we go on to the
Yeah.
next one? Tell us, you're a bit of a car guy, so you've
Uh-huh.
got a topic about what's happening in the auto industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we probably many have seen the news from about the fully autonomous cars with Tesla and Waymo and so in the US. Well, I mean, very excitingly, that's come more and more into the UAE. So we saw that partnerships with WeRide, so that's I believe a Chinese maker, and Uber as well, announcing like robo-taxi services here in Dubai. And I'll be honest, Sam, I haven't tried this yet, but I'm absolutely dying to. So this is something that's high on my, my weekend to-do list. So I feel like that's been it's been a problem that's been wanting to be solved for a while and been promised for a long time, but it's just coming now, and closer to my heart as a long-term Tesla owner. My car is 6 years old, I think, this year. So one of the earlier Teslas and certainly one of the earliest Model 3s in the region. So they just announced that full self-driving is available now in the UAE or coming soon to the UAE. Now, unfortunately, Sam, not to disappoint you, but my car is of an older hardware generation. So it's not actually going to be available for me until they hopefully will give an upgrade for it. Now, don't get me wrong, I still get a lot of the self-driving type of capabilities, but it's not the full self-driving ability. But Sam, have you sat in one of these driverless cars yet? And what's your thoughts on the whole area?
I haven't yet, but I hear in San Francisco where it's very, very normal. I think, as
Mm,
everyone says, the very first time you sit in without a steering wheel, I think you're talking about, or maybe even with the steering wheel, it's a pretty freaky experience, right? Like,
mm,
so no, I haven't. I actually just heard this on the radio this morning as well, as I was coming to the office. That I'm just quickly trying to find it's too early even for the news to be put out there in public, but it's coming. It's coming. Like you said, after like San Francisco, I think UAE is going to be the next one to adopt it. Just to put some numbers into it, I can see 25%. This is their goal in Dubai, 25% of autonomous vehicles by
Autonomous. Yep.
2030.
Yep.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
incredible.
this particular announcement, this WeRide, just one of these organisations committed to rolling out 1,200 robo taxis across Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Riyadh, and 200 are already in place at the moment.
Wow.
You know, the part that
How do you find one though? You said you want to try it. How are you going to get one? Is it in probably the Uber app or something?
Yeah, so it's great that, because obviously we have Uber, we have Kareem, so they'll I assume they'll be available there. I did look last time I was looking at this a couple of months ago. There's some of the Chinese apps that you need to download. It was the barrier to entry was surprisingly high, to be honest. I'm sure it's simpler now, but hopefully if it's in your Ubers and your Kareems, then it'll be much easier. Can you imagine, like, when
you'd imagine so, right? Like, because you can select your car, so you'd just be selecting the autonomous one.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, do you remember how? Because you said it feels so weird the first time you do it. I think it's something you'll get used to so quickly. And like, you remember when Uber first came out, and the idea of having an app that you press a button and a driver comes to you, and then it's all like you get in a car with a stranger. There's all these kind of people, these perceptions against that, but it became so normal so quickly. And I think that this is going to be exactly the same. It's just you'll have your first experience and you go, oh yeah, that was pretty good. And then, the cost of it is, going to be less than having it with a driver. You get trust in the system very, very quickly. I think it's going to just be so normal so quickly, mate.
I think it's going to be, I think that's an underestimate, 25% by 2030. I think it could be more than that.
Yeah, maybe. Like, it's, I mean, there's a lot of legacy infrastructure there. Like, how many taxis are there around that will eventually change, will need to be changed over. But yeah, I mean, I think it will catch on like absolute fire as people adopt it, and the barriers to entry to become less, and people just get used to it exceptionally quickly.
I suppose it's like the same transition when we went from like piston engine vehicles to electric, right? Like, you've got the hybrid ones that came in because people weren't really comfortable just having like electric car vehicles for the mileage or whatever. And now we've just, obviously Tesla has just dominated. Now all the Chinese cars coming in, which are fully electric, right? Because the adoption there and the comfort, peace of mind factor is there as well in regards to the mileage or the range and the reliability of electric vehicles. So I think the adoption there was actually, there was some hiccups along the way, obviously during the early stages, and we've seen hiccups also with autonomous vehicles when they were like rolling them out during the early days and a few deaths. But compared to the amount of deaths, and I'm just reading it now, 90% of traffic accidents comes from human error, right? So like, even though that there were some hiccups with the AI within the autonomous vehicles, it's going to be far less accidents than what we're currently doing as distracted humans while driving.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and remember, this is as worse as it's ever going to be. Like, it's only going to get better and better. And I think driving will eventually become like horse riding. It's a luxury. It's something that people that are passionate about it do. But you don't do it every day to go to the office. You do it on the weekends because you enjoy that. It's like my kart racing. It's just like something I do for fun, and it's like it's it's basically become a hobby. I think what would be fascinating, mate, and you as a fairly new father, I would be surprised if your daughter ends up getting a driver's license. It would just be such a, really, what do you need a driver's license for? Maybe you go to a closed track and you have some experience of what my dad used to do. I mean, I've got a 15-year-old and
for a fun little single prop aircraft on the weekend, right? Or
it'll become like
it's
that.
just for fun, because I love like revving an 8 cylinder or an 8 liter. I'm not a car
Yes.
guy, but like, you just
Yeah.
rev the
Yeah.
engine and have
Yeah.
the roof, the wind between your ears and
Yeah.
going off into the mountains over the weekend,
Yeah.
like, because I want to, drive fast and drive a little and have
Yeah.
that control. But like 100%, I can completely see why this would be adopted, right? Because like now those distracted drivers can be distracted passengers on the way to the office or on the way to
Mm.
the restaurant,
Mm.
texting or getting another email done, right? Like, it
Yeah.
makes so much sense. It makes so much
Yeah.
sense that this is going to be extremely popular, and I can't wait till it's all autonomous, right? Because like
Mm.
really, like the humans are the most unpredictable thing. If we
Yes.
completely
Yeah.
could, like, this is like you said, this is the most challenging time during the transition. Eventually, when it's like 90 to 95% autonomous vehicles, they can talk to each other quite easily,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
through the
Yep.
infrared, and they're
Yep.
all predictable. So like I
Yeah.
mean, it'll be even better in the future, and we can't wait for that future as well, because I think we're just getting far more distracted as drivers.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, you just have a look at the window next door, and this is not a UAE thing. This is a global thing, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
we cannot stay off our phones, and it's so bad,
Yes.
and it's creating more and more accidents. So bring it on.
Yeah. Absolutely, mate. And it's a whole nother topic that I don't know much about, but how it will transform cities, because all of a sudden you won't need car parks. So you can imagine those car
Mm.
parks being transformed into, green spaces and so on. Like, and so congestion should be reduced. You open up a whole bunch of, what's mostly dead space car parks, like they're barely used in the middle of the night. So
And the
yeah,
other
it's a
thought is like
fascinating area.
and even to go further with the future of it, like, do you actually even purchase one of those cars, or are they just, or you don't need to, maybe if there's
Yeah.
so many on the road, you never even need to purchase one. It's more of a, like, it could be just a for hire, like a taxi, but
Mm-hmm.
also
Yep.
because there's no human behind the wheel, the cost of that taxi will reduce dramatically, right? The only
Mm-hmm.
cost of it is the maintenance of it by the
Yep.
the owner, which could, and if it's a government one, it could actually just be a small fee that goes as part of our within our, you know, housing fee or something like this, right? Like, it
Mm.
could just be
Yeah. It could be
and then it
service.
could be,
Like
there
it's
may not even be a like cost, like it could
yeah.
be just a, even public buses, like, none of that transport, you would need humans, and then therefore the cost
Mm.
is extremely low. So it could
Yeah.
just be a fee where there is no cost to jump into a public transport. You just jump in and jump out, and then on the flip side of that, that's the rosy side. The negative side is like, it's the most, isn't it like the biggest occupation in the world, right? So like, as
Yeah.
this comes
Yeah.
in, oh my goodness, there goes the biggest employment in the world, the biggest employment
Mm-hmm.
in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gone.
It's yeah, who knows what the future holds for this one. I mean, I'm quite optimistic about it. I've got to say, and I'm looking forward to embracing this. But yeah, I mean, when you talk about the amount of people that are currently, drivers in various capacities, where those, I'm just, as always, there'll be new jobs found for these people, new roles created, and so on. So anyway, we could talk about this one for a long time. I guess maybe we'll go on to our last topic today, Sam. What do you think?
I think so too. I
Uh,
would like to talk
uh,
about something, the AI hiring boom that the global talent race has begun, the AI hiring boom coming to the UAE. So it's reported, and I think I think it's kind of underestimated. They were saying that there was hundreds of AI companies set up in 2025. I actually think it's even higher than hundreds. Where was the article? It was roughly, they roughly said it was around about 550 companies. I think that's grossly underestimated, but that's probably
mhm.
for pure AI companies. Um, as we spoke about just recently with one of our guests, like, and what we're seeing as well, literally hundreds, if not, actually, there's not even hundreds, there's thousands
Yeah.
of licenses per month collectively across the country for e-commerce is being established, right? Tied with that is the golden visa as well. So people coming over here, starting up their e-commerce, but predominantly when we're talking about AI, there's a huge boom. Obviously, as a result from the, again, 3031 initiative to be the leader in AI. So it's attracting so much talent. The AI hiring has jumped from 32% to 48% in the UAE tech roles. So there's more companies looking for experts in this field too.
I feel like that is going to probably increase by an even greater amount as people figure out well, I think any tech role before long, you're going to have like AI is going to be infused throughout that. Maybe this is referring to specific AI roles, but I feel like any technical role going forward is going to be an AI role in some capacity, whether it's development or security or CI/CD pipeline, like whatever it is, whatever you're doing, it's going to have to be an AI. You're going to have to be adopting AI there, and it's going to be an essential part of that role. So that number, I think, AI will be, basically touching 100% or very close to it of any technical role in the upcoming years. It just hasn't been explicitly said yet.
100%, right? Like the ecosystem is here, spreading across into Saudi as well. But I think it's, again, just because the entire ecosystem, from policies to future thinking from the top level, and now the funds and the investment is here as well, and these AI companies are coming over to get a part of it. But also, it's not just the startups. Got to keep in mind, just like that case study I gave you with ADNOC, they're hiring an extremely senior, very expensive expert in AI to join ADNOC, a public listed largest oil and gas provider in the UAE, right? So like, it's not just entrepreneurs and founders coming over here. Like, there are companies here that are looking for highly senior talents from around the world to join their establishments, which are huge companies.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And it's only going to get more and more prominent throughout.
There it
mate,
is.
I wanted
582 Dubai startups within the last 9 months. I think that is completely grossly underestimated. That actually, I would actually say that statistic has just come from probably one free zone. And we're probably, what did Tony say? 60 plus free zones in the UAE?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a massive underestimate.
It's a
mate,
boom,
I
though.
wanted to
It's
ask you about
definitely a boom.
one thing that's been impacting us here, and I know it's been impacting, had a big impact on your business lately, and that was the what we've all heard, like the AWS outages that we've had here in the region these past couple of weeks now. So yeah, I know that you guys have been exceptionally busy given the nature of your business resolving that. We were lucky we didn't get, initially we were lucky we didn't get impacted by it, and thankfully none of our clients did as well. But yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, I guess, how this has impacted you guys, how it makes you think about perhaps resilience more in the future, and what's your take on it, mate?
Thanks for raising that, Damien. This is an extremely important topic that is, I think, I'm surprised we left it to the very end, because like over March, the whole world's seen what's happened in March in the Middle East, right? So we need to acknowledge what this is industry news. And I would say this is one of the biggest industry news from my sector, which is hosting. AWS, which is Amazon company, is the biggest hosting provider in the world. Number one. They're absolutely huge and is making a significant revenue for Amazon as well today. They have data centers all over the world, every single continent And most countries, they've got physical data centers, which Amazon actually own. They don't lease it from government. It's their own infrastructure. So as a SME, we're hosting hundreds of websites and applications, and we're hosting them. If the Middle East businesses, the best practice is to be hosting in the Middle East data center. So unfortunately, with this regional conflict going on, they've been attacked. It's been one of the infrastructure goals for Iran to attack, and we need to put this as a really important industry news. They got attacked not once, not twice, but 3 times. So it was at the very beginning of March. I think March the 3rd, they attacked UAE and Bahrain, but they actually was successful with hitting one of the data centers. I think then on the 24th of March, they were successful in Bahrain with another data center, and then just yesterday, they attacked another Bahrain AWS data center, and obviously making significant negative impact on businesses and banks and many very well-known entities. So as a result, again, at the moment, this is temporary, but the public information that Amazon is recommending to everyone is to move your hostings into another Amazon data center region where it's currently safe. So what we're doing and recommending is to move your hosting to Singapore. They've got a really big data center there for the Asia region, and also it's relatively close. Unfortunately, this is the case right now. If it stabilizes in the future, it's not if, but when, there is the option to move it back into the Middle East. So, until this aggression slows down, we don't know if there will be another attack from Iran. Let's hope not. But just to be on the safe side, for unlimited uptime for your website, move that data out of the region. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's something that we definitely need to document within the monthly wrap up.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And I appreciate your honesty there. I mean, I know, talking to you offline, it's been a challenging period given the scale of your business, the amount of infrastructure that you've had to manage and move, and being one of your clients as well. Like, I appreciate how transparent you guys were in, on the issues and the uncertainties as well. Like, you don't want to be promising things that you can't necessarily deliver on to. So I think there's beyond just the news component of it here, there's a lesson for entrepreneurs there about being communicable with clients, upfront and honest as well. You can't hide behind these kind of issues. People are aware of them, and your clients, like me, for you, will respect your ability to be forthright about the issues that you're facing right now, and what you're doing about to improve things too. So
We so far, like, we've learned a lot. I think Amazon has learned a lot from crisis, and UAE is always saying we're going to come out stronger from this. Amazon will come out stronger for this. We as a hosting provider will come out stronger after this as well. Getting back to your point, all the clients were extremely understanding. They were very happy. What we learned from this is be proactive with the communications and keep the customers regularly on a daily basis updated with the progress, right? Because it's their website, it's their application, it's their data, and they need to know what's going on, right? So it's the most amazing thing though, like, because I've got a buddy that works in AWS, and they said, look, I love AWS. I'm the biggest geeky fan. I just love, like, it's such a cool company. And they're so, and what he tells me, and the first thing he said is like, security for us is number one.
Yeah.
The coolest thing is he's like, as an employee, I don't even know where our physical data centers is because security is number one, right? So like there are 8 data centers in the UAE. There's 8 data centers in Bahrain, right? So there's a lot of infrastructure put in place by Amazon, and they've always said security is number one. But this was cybersecurity. The most amazing thing from this incident is that now we all took our eyes off the physical security of our infrastructure and assets. And it was like a complete wake up call. So like, again, to publicly document this, like, why we said we'll come out stronger than this, Amazon, as a result, all the backups were also saved in the same data center. As a result, Amazon is putting in, or Amazon actually has already put in place to do the backups in a different data center, and even a different regional data center, right? And we will do the same. It was unfortunately, none of us ever considered this could actually happen, and this was the very first time it ever happened. A direct attack, a physical attack at war to data centers. It's unprecedented. So as a result, we're all going to come out stronger than this, and some very good but painful lessons have been learned.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. And very well said. Very well said. Like everyone, is hopefully improving everything they do based on this. Like, as you said, unprecedented. Like this is not something that happens day to day, thankfully. So yeah, I know that Spiral Click and AWS and all those impacted will come out of this. With fresh perspectives, new SOPs, and better ways to handle these kind of situations.
Honestly, mate, the best thing, like sometimes like in crisis, you see the best of people and you see the worst of people. But very honestly, like we have so many hosting customers and they were all incredible. They were all so respectful, so thankful. After yesterday's incident, we migrated every single customer's website in the same day to Singapore. And we were getting so much thanks because like there was next to no data loss. So like and we have to come together, during these times and help each other out. And everyone was extremely kind, in this like unnerving, unknowingly unreal situation.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well said, mate. And I think that's a great place to maybe close up there. The message of hope and resilience there coming out of the region in these unprecedented times, mate. So well done to you. And yeah, let's maybe close out there, and then looking forward to talking again soon, buddy.
Yeah, and to you and to your business and to all the businesses out there in the Middle East as well. I think the most important thing is that we need to remember this is not forever. So we just need to, nothing is forever. We'll get through this and we get back into doing some proper business and growing the country and our companies equally for the future.
Yeah, well said, buddy. All right, Sam. Well, lovely talk to you again, mate. Covered some very, very interesting topics there, some very timely stuff as well. So looking forward again to the next podcast here on Golf Founders, mate.
See you soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
Subscribe for more stories from the Gulf.